Hello, my name is Anna Brezgis, and this is my curriculum design project for AL 8450 approaches. Come on. Okay. Hello. Start over. Hello, my name is Anna Brezgis, and this is my curriculum design project for 80 AL. Fuck. Hello, my name is Anna Brezgis, and this is my curriculum design project for AL 8450 approaches. Okay, I'll go over here now. My my mom is texting me. Gosh, mom. I have a rowdy audience, huh? All right. So my prospective target context is a IEP in a large public research university. Uh, and my students are primarily international students aged 18 through 25. In their background, they have had varied levels of previous English instruction. Maybe some people have had private lessons. Maybe some people have just learned from, consuming English language media. But the ultimate goal, regardless, is to prepare students for undergraduate or graduate studies in an English language institution. And I'm going to approach this by continually zooming out. So, kind of like presented in the model, starting at the smallest context and moving outward. But I think it's important to remember that each context is nested within the next. So if you imagine like a series of circles that gets bigger and bigger, that's what we're looking at here. And we'll talk about my classroom. I'll go up here. I can go all around. Oh no. Okay, I'm having too much fun. Okay, so classroom. I'm teaching an oral communication class in this scenario, and the focus is on speech production. We have 2 class meetings per week, which are 75. Oh, if I just click it, then it will change. I'm learning more every day. 2 class meetings per week, 75 minutes each. And this exists within a university's IEP. There is a focus on developing students' English for academic purposes, and there is like a significant time dedication to preparing students to take standardized tests. Talk a little bit about my previous experiences, my introduction to TESOL. So, and I will do that through talking about my experience conducting or participating, leading micro teachings. Leading micro teachings through my undergraduate EFL certificate coursework was highly transformative. I've always loved doing presentations. I love having command of a room and, having an audience. I don't know. It's all really fun for me. So a micro teaching kind of, makes it a scenario where everybody's participating. It's just really, really fun for me. And I got to learn so much about myself through this process. Throughout my broader EFL coursework, I engaged with established theories of language acquisition and diverse teaching approaches. And this hands-on experience allowed me to experiment with different ones and kind of put together, my own like set, of these frameworks in a low-stake environment. And it has been, shown in research that microteaching as a teacher training pedagogy is instrumental in developing teacher identity. And that is so true for me. My teacher identity is online. So I think it really did help a lot, me, not just my teacher identity, but my Anna identity. Talk about the school moving everywhere. I think that's a problem with my slide design. So school community is where we end up now. For this program, I chose Stony Brook University for my own selfish reasons. I might end up there. This might end up coming true. This is a large public research university with an annual undergraduate enrollment of 17.9K. And through like the US News and Politics, some kind of ranking system, they were ranked the #1 public research university in New York State. So that's important to know. They have a good reputation. School district, it's not really a district, but the SUNY system. Uh, Yeah, it is comprised of 64 academic institutions across New York State. And I would say this is comparable to the university system of Georgia. So, each of these is an independent institution, but they're somehow interdependent on one another, and maybe have some higher level administration and funding, I think is important. Okay, here I want to talk about basically through the micro teaching, what did I gain? What did I make of my teacher identity through these experiences? And that is to say, fostering agency and passion is a core value of my teaching philosophy. This comes not only from that ESL coursework and my greater social science studies, but also my own experiences as a student. My own love of language study drives my intention to develop students' passion for English language. I believe everybody can learn an L2, and I believe everyone can enjoy doing it. I really do believe it's possible. And I think there's no one incapable of these things. So just have to find the right approach, basically. It's like how they say, well, in Ratatouille, they're like, anyone can cook. And then, also they say in like K through 12 education, like anyone can read, anyone can enjoy reading, and all of this is true. You know, these are things that are common to a lot of people, and we can all find reasons to love them. I want language learning to be one of them. So, in general, I believe that a sense of agency is a defining feature of academic success. When you take ownership of what you're doing and you kind of group it in with your greater purpose in life, you take what you're doing and you adapt it in ways that work the best for you. That's how you get successful. That's what I think. I want students to feel empowered in their language learning process. Part of agency is feeling empowered. You can't you can't have agency like, well, I don't know. I guess I'll just rephrase it like this. These two things are highly interdependent of each other, agency and empowerment. Maybe we could also put liberation in there. So that's a hot button word in social science circles right now is liberation. That's a hot button word. Maybe call it a hot topic. A lot of people are talking about this word. It's like translanguaging. Now it's liberation. So not that these are bad things, but yeah. This requires engaging students' creative thinking. When you create something in your mind, you are engaging with your agency and empowerment. You can always create stuff in your mind. But engaging students' creative thinking means nurturing curiosity and creativity as it arises. I think, yeah, I mean, sometimes, going through the school system, people's curiosity and creativity can get stifled a little bit. And I think part of higher education is, rediscovering that in a certain way, you know? So I think a lot of this is achieved by my delivery of content and the methodologies I employ. And I think also just creating relationships with students. I think these are all really important things, you know. We zoom out to the city, not really city, once again, the unincorporated community of Stony Brook in the city of Brookhaven, New York, on Long Island. This is about 2 hours to New York City through the metro system. I mentioned this for two reasons here. So if I move my face, you can see in the picture, this is Stony Brook. It is, even though it's on Long Island and it's really close to a major metropolitan city, it is still, kind of a sleepy college town. So, there's lots of stuff to do, lots of access to nature, lots of, student communities to engage with. The closeness to New York allows a couple things. First of all, New York has a high presence of multilingualism. So I think there's lots of opportunities for students to engage with their L1 community in the city, but also because New York is, an American melting pot city, they also have lots of opportunities to engage with English in new and exciting ways in what many people call the greatest city in the world. So, you know, I think that's important. I think you basically I mean, if you look at this from the perspective of an international student at Stony Brook, you're like, I really have a cool opportunity to take what I learn, especially in an oral communication class, speaking to people. I really do have an opportunity to do something really cool with my newfound English skills, you know. Now we're at the state level. This is New York State. It's home to many large metropolitan areas. So, of course, there's New York City, there's Buffalo, there's Albany, but it's also close in proximity to many other East Coast cities. You can take the Amtrak to Boston, Philadelphia, DC, Providence, Rhode Island, if you are so inclined. And it's been a blue state in the last 9 elections. So, and I absolutely do believe that this affects language policy and funding available to IEPs on different levels. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about navigating the university IEP as a graduate teaching assistant. So, being a GTA is kind of a transient thing. You are in and out, in 2 to 7 years maybe. And, there is basically an end date to your tenure at this institution. So there's not really a lot of time. You don't really have a lot of leverage to, make greater changes or, just to the department or otherwise. GTAs are often required to follow a set curriculum with little flexibility, course curriculum and stuff selected by the department. So required textbooks and materials are generally assigned by the department, and assessment guidelines and rubrics may be standardized across sections to ensure continuity. Like many other university IEPs, this department utilizes the TOEFL exam as kind of the, endpoint. And this requires teaching specific question formats and content information so that students may be successful in this exam. So in this context, I may be restricted in incorporating less structured approaches. I may have some sort of obligation to teach to the test. We're here at the federal level. I'll place myself over Minnesota for this one. Okay. We're in the United States. And, the United States is known as a melting pot country. However, it is still a highly monolingual country. And that means that there's potential for hostility to English learners. And unfortunately, this is growing in our current socio-political climate. And most likely, it may continue to rise. Regardless of this, many people immigrate. Many people immigrate for professional or financial reasons, or, many ways just to find a different or better life for themselves. That attitude, even with all the stuff going on, like in the world and stuff, that attitude, like, is still here. And a lot of people, want to seek out the prophesized American dream. And a lot of people understand that English language, is kind of one of the things that you need to get there. Just, I feel mixed ways about that. Okay. National or international level. I want to expand this to Western academia or global North academia, basically all of academia in which English is the lingua franca. English proficiency can kind of be seen as a gatekeeper to participation in academia, and this is not just restricted to scholars. In many of the institutions that are very highly regarded in the world, they're here in the United States, where English is the primary medium of instruction. So, it's kind of linked. English language proficiency is kind of linked to these opportunities. I need to understand that, like, as I'm doing my job, there are stakes, there are high stakes here, people's lives. Um, I think here I'm going to talk about creative teaching in structured context. So, the IEP is a highly structured context, and it requires creativity in order for your teachings to align with your inner teaching philosophy, in a place where you have a lot less freedom, in curriculum design, like you have to, while you have to make some sacrifices, there are also many opportunities, for being creative and doing things your way. However creative you have to get, like that's up to you. That's maybe up to the situation. So I want to call this personalization within parameters. I want to know how I can adapt the necessary themes, if we're talking about TOEFL, if we're talking about existing syllabi, to more exciting, engaging mediums which align with my teaching philosophy. Um, and I want to do this by incorporating real world context. So, media and realia interaction, current events, pop and high culture, relevant speech situations, Um, and I also want to, do this by being honest with students. I want students to know why we're covering the content we are and what they may gain from it. Because I think that actually, like knowing what's going on, I think is part of agency and empowerment. The more information you give people, the better, the more informed they are. True dat. Okay. I'll put myself here. So I'm going to talk about creative adaptation of some existing materials. So the questions above here, these are some released TOEFL materials from the oral portion of the exam. I assume that in this class that I use for this project, I will probably have to teach something like this. So I'll just read one of the questions to you. State whether you agree or disagree with the following statement. Then explain your reasons using specific details in your argument. Teachers should assign daily homework to students. I'll read the second one now. There are many different approaches to academic studies, and all of them have specific benefits. Do you prefer to study for tests in a group or to study alone? Include details and examples to support your explanation. I understand the reason for blandness when we're talking about a standardized test. That's so that these questions can be accessible to everybody, and so everybody kind of has a vantage point on which to form their opinion. But if I'm going to teach this type of content, again, like 75 minutes twice a week, it sounds like it will get really dull really fast. I included this dull coworker skit to the left. I think this skit series is really funny. You can just Google like dull coworker TikTok and it'll probably come up. But the whole joke is that, this lady is like perfectly sweet and, friendly, but she only ever talks about the most surface level, topics. But it's kind of part of her charm. I don't know, but it's kind of the same theme. It's not exciting and it's not engaging, basically, is my point. So I basically want to look at these materials. What skills do these questions require the student to demonstrate? And so if we look at Q1 first, well, first of all, there's agreeing or disagreeing with the statement. So there's an opinion, and then explain using specific details and your argument. Okay, so you have to state your opinion and you have to back it up with specific reasons. Well, we can do that in a different way. So one ways I maybe suggest is doing a student debate. You can form this in a lot of different ways, but one I thought might be fun for my classroom would be students sharing hot takes. If you're familiar with the unpopular opinion subreddit, this kind of follows that format. So, I guess you could do this in pairs or groups or as a whole class, whatever you want to do. So one student might say, my hot take is that Taylor Swift is overrated. And another student responds, maybe following this form, but you basically, yeah, I would say, you have to, again, you have to give your opinion. You have to agree or disagree, and then you have to back it up with specific details. So they could say, I disagree with your hot take because Taylor Swift is a very skilled artist, and I know this because she has won many awards in her career and her tour was very popular, something like this. Everything you need to know in Q1 is done through this format, and it's a lot more fun, and it incorporates a lot more of the student into it. Let's talk about Q2 really quick because it is a little bit different. Um, this is not necessarily agree or disagree. This is like you have to choose one or the other. You have to like evaluate your own, approach to something. But then this one says include details and examples. Okay. So that's a little bit different than specific details, I feel like. I thought we could do this through interacting with media. So the class reads or watches a piece of opinion-based media. It could be like an essay, opinion piece on some, news website. It could really, it could be a YouTube video. We can get creative with it, right? Students discuss their own opinion. So, you know, the student's response to this media could be like, I agree with the New York Times piece on cell phone use. I think that it's healthy to spend time off the internet whenever possible. My own experience shows me that I feel better the more time I spend outside, and generally doctors recommend getting sunlight, this kind of thing. So once again, we have all the content or all the like format necessary, but it's like just done a little bit differently and in a way that's like not like brain blendingly dull. So we're here at the end. What a journey we took together. We're here at our references. This is I can go for a ride while sorry, okay. It's okay. So I don't know why. I think I'm delirious from doing stuff. Okay. Yeah, okay, references. Those are my references that are from the assigned texts. These are my references that I got off Google Scholar. I have 4 of them, and you'll see them in APA 7 throughout my PowerPoint. I think that's all. Thanks so much for listening to my presentation. It was a really fun project, and I enjoyed doing it. Um, yeah, all right. That's all from me today.